the introduction to the Vaccai series, and in this video I'm going to tell you a little bit about Nicola Vaccai, the composer who wrote these wonderful exercises for the voice. And I'm also going to give you a little bit of historical context and talk you through which editions of the music I like and how you can get your music online or otherwise. And so Nicola Vaccai was an Italian opera composer. He was born in 1790 in Tolentino. His family moved after that to Pesaro, which was the birthplace of Rossini. And Rossini was the biggest name in opera for much of Vaccai's early development. And at the time these exercises were written in 1832, Rossini really was the man. Other composers were coming along in what we now call bel canto. Donizetti, Bellini were becoming big at that time as well, but Rossini was sort of the reigning king. And so Vaccai was a successful composer as well. He wrote 17 operas, 2 of them were big hits. He composed an opera specifically for the great singer Maria Malibran. Many call her the greatest singer of the age. And so I just want to make a point of that because I think that often from a distant vantage point we look back and we assume that the big names that we know, Rossini, Donizetti, and Bellini, were the only composers that really were of merit. And I think that's unfair. And I just want to make a point that Vaccai did have some success. Later on he served at the Milan Conservatory and became important there in reforms that were instituted, and of course was so important in leaving us these beautiful songs, which he self-published in London in 1833, so long before self-publishing was a craze like it is now. He published them himself. But he wrote them in 1832, and the inspiration for writing them seems to have been that he had a lot of students who were what was called dilettanten. And dilettante has a really negative connotation. When we say the word, it means somebody who's not serious necessarily about their artistic endeavors. But back then it was used, I think, a little differently. But it did mean that that person was not aspiring to a career as a singer. And of course there were many reasons why someone, because of societal reasons, would not be planning to go on the stage, because opera singers were, like actresses, maybe one step above whoredom or prostitution. So these dilettanten were students of Vaccai, and the vocal pedagogy of the time was extremely rigorous. There were many schools of vocal pedagogy in Italy, depending on region: the Neapolitan school, the Bolognese school, the Milanese school. And Italy was also politically divided at the time. Later in the century it would become united, but at the time, in the 1830s, it was divided. And vocal pedagogy was also extremely rigorous. So the custom was to train in a series of rigorous exercises that was progressive. So you'd have to progress through those exercises before you were allowed to touch the repertoire. So the dilettanten in London apparently were not so much into that severe type of training. And what I love about these exercises, you can really feel in these exercises the heart of a teacher who's looking for ways to make the process more enjoyable. Because as we all know, if the process is not enjoyable, it's tougher to stick with it. So he wrote this series of exercises, and they really are songs. They're set to poetry and libretto bits from Metastasio. They're very enjoyable to sing. It's unfortunate that the public doesn't really get to hear them, but we as singers do. So they've been in publication ever since that time. And there are many different editions, which is what I'd like to talk with you about now. So first of all, you don't have to buy the music. The music is available online. You can download it from a couple of different places. But the website that I'm going to have a link to on this page is the Vaccai page from the Sibelius Academy in Finland, which I think is the best one. They have a research institute there, and they've got a terrific amount of information on Vaccai, but also they have each exercise in each key with an audio recording of the accompaniment in each key. So you can go there, even if you're going to buy the music, you can go there to find out which key you think might suit you. So you don't have to buy the music, that's first of all. But I would say, if you download it from there, or there's also something called the Petrucci Library that has everything that's in the, not everything, but a lot of things in the public domain that you can just download. If you do that, I still recommend that you print it out and put it together in a nice book or binder for yourself. Because the thing about these exercises is you can really have them your whole life as a singer and make notes, and it really is nice if they can become a cherished object, and it's sort of a touchstone. For me, it has been anyway, where a lot of things happen with the voice over the course of the years, and you go back to these exercises and it sort of shows you where you are. So I encourage you to make it a cherished object. Among the additions, I will begin with the Schirmer, which is the least expensive. It's also quite problematic in that the keys are not terrific. This says soprano or tenor, but it's really not very high. And the other thing about Schirmer scores in general is there are many mistakes in Schirmer scores. So some of my favorite anthologies, and the anthologies that we all know so well, operatic anthologies, are from Schirmer, but we need to check them against another score usually. In this case, there are accent marks missing. It's not anything, I don't think, too huge, but I have a cautionary note I will give you for Schirmer, but they're very cheap. You can get these for $1 or a couple of dollars online. The rule of thumb I like for buying music is that I try to buy music from a publisher that's from the country that the composer was from. So with Italian composers, I like to buy Ricordi. With German composers, I like to buy Peters, and so on. French music, I buy a French edition. French music can be pretty expensive, but I don't have any French editions of the Vaccai here. And I don't know the name. If there is one in French, I don't know what that is. So the Peters is nice. The Kalmus is beloved because it has all my notes in it. So this one is going to stick around for sure. But here are my two favorites from Ricordi for different reasons. These editions from Ricordi are lovely. They feel nice. The paper is very linen-y, and you know, you start to collect a few of these and it's just a nice thing for the studio. But I'm actually going to recommend the larger Ricordi, and the reason that I'm recommending it, despite the fact that it comes with a CD and is more expensive, and you don't need the CD, is that it's very easy to read, large print and things like that, but also it has only the Italian. So usually when you have a translation, it doesn't, in music, it's not a literal translation, they're not often very poetic either. So it's nice to have only the Italian, because then you can write in your own translation, or your own, if you want to write in your phonetic alphabet about whether or not vowels are open and closed. You just have less to look at. You don't see anything but the words you're singing. So this is the one that I like, and I will have links to a few of these. As always, if you buy sheet music from singerspirit.com, a little bit of your purchase money kicks back to support me and Singer Spirit, so I do appreciate it. And there's also just a general sheet music link there. So those are my recommendations for your music, however you get it. I look forward to doing these exercises with you. They certainly have been an enormous gift to singers over the centuries, and we're all very lucky that Nicola Vaccai thought to himself, what can I do to make the study of these bel canto elements enjoyable. I'd also like to let you know that I'm going to do another video which will also in a way accompany the Vaccai series, and that will be building blocks of bel canto, so be on the lookout for that. If you want to be notified as the Vaccai videos become available, or as other videos become available, make sure please to subscribe to the Singer Spirit YouTube channel, or fill out one of the contact forms that I have at singerspirit.com to join the mailing list, and then I'll let you know every time I have a new video up. You'll get a little flash about that. So thanks for watching.